All right, all right. So I'm live once again to share with you the videos and articles and things that I've been enjoying over the past week. I did this last week and the response was pretty good, so I decided I would go ahead and do that again. However, this time I came even more prepared so that all the things that I'll talk through and mention are already in the description and you can already check them out. You don't have to wait for the video to go up and go through processing and all of that stuff. So the first things that I'm recommending are two of my own articles that I put out in the last couple of weeks. I think they're really good. We worked hard on them, and I'm happy to share them with you guys. The first is an article about 5 ways to improve the quality of your sleep and why sleep is so important. And the second is about reishi mushrooms, spiritual associations, and applications. And then the first link below is just right to the Hyperion blog, and then you'll see those blog posts and many other things. And we're posting new articles every week on the blog, so I highly recommend checking it out and staying up to date because I post there every week, and I'm also posting here, but it's not always the same content. And there's a lot of stuff that's on the blog there that I've never mentioned on YouTube, and I highly recommend reading through that and checking that out. So that's the first one. The second link is to an expose in an article on this sex cult called One Taste, or it's, if you've heard of orgasmic meditation, this is a thing. It's neither meditation or has anything to do with it. It's a really pretty distorted and twisted reality, but I've found it to be quite entertaining over the years as I've been hearing about it, and I've met some people that used to be in that cult. And then I was joking with some friends recently and then decided to look it up and then found this Bloomberg expose on the whole thing. And it's just hilarious, but also pretty sad because these are people's lives getting ruined. But it's also funny because, like, me and my friends make jokes and we imagine these scenarios, we imagine these types of people and the things that these types of people would say. But then it's like, that's exactly what the situation is, and then it's exactly what the people are saying. So it's just inherently hilarious on a lot of levels, and also, again, sad because people's lives are getting ruined. So that's the second link that's up there. So if you want to go down the whole cult brainwashing rabbit hole, even just for educational and entertainment purposes, I linked that article on the One Taste, and then there's another documentary that I recommend called The Source Family. That one's actually really quite good. In my opinion, I preferred it over the Rajneesh Osho cult documentary because I think The Source Family was actually more impactful on the course of culture in America than, I mean, obviously Osho's huge, but the Source Family was also really, really impactful. And it's a really just hilarious and entertaining documentary. And then I linked to an article which shows, I think, 6 or 8 other cult documentaries that are on Netflix right now. So if you really want to go down that rabbit hole, I highly recommend it. Another thing that I would recommend that I didn't link there below is called The Century of the Self. I think part 1 is the most relevant and the most useful to that whole dynamic. But if you really want to learn a lot about psychology and human groupthink and how things can so easily get twisted and how just sort of predictable it all becomes at a certain point, I highly recommend checking those links and just going down that rabbit hole. There's plenty of material there. And at a certain point, it's just predictable, and at a certain point, it's formulaic. And I think in a video I did a few years ago, I actually broke down the formula for how those things work and then how it all plays out on both sides of the equation. I think I did videos on that, and then I even wrote an article basically just like how to start your cult if you want to do it. Here's the formula. This is the equation that you need. These are the variables, and this is how it's going to happen. And then on a more positive note, a more uplifting and useful note, there's another documentary that I linked that is an energy arts. Originally it was a DVD, and now they just put it on YouTube for free as like a hour-long documentary video. But if you're interested in sort of Taoist arts or internal arts or Chinese medicine or any of those things, I highly recommend checking out this documentary. It's a pretty interesting overview and introduction to the subject, and it's overall just a pretty cool film that I have watched many times myself over the last 8 or so years, and just recommend it. And for some reason, it's not really that well known, so wanted to start on on like a happy, useful note, and then we got a little dark with all the cult stuff, and then wrap it up with another thing that I think is actually useful and helpful. So that's basically what I've been enjoying this week in terms of media consumption, articles, what have you. Highly recommend checking those things out, especially the first 2 articles that I mentioned on the Hyperion blog about how to improve the quality of your sleep and why sleep is so important, and the other one about the deeper aspects of reishi mushroom. And then again, I just flat out recommend the Hyperion blog because there's so many good articles on there. I think in the last few weeks we've done an article about women's health specifically, and we've done an article about pu'er tea and authentic qualities and how to source it and how to brew it, these types of things. So again, we're posting on there every week, so I would highly recommend checking that out. It's the first link, and then there's the other links about the various cult things and the Energy Arts DVD/documentary. So that's it for this video. Those are all the things that I felt like sharing for this week. I'll be back soon, I'm sure, with more helpful and useful content. I'll be doing more live Q&A coming up. And that's it. So hopefully enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching this video. Check out the links below, and I